Whenever you launch an EC2 instance in AWS, you will see two IP addresses. One is public IP and another one is private IP. But here is the confusing part. Why do we need two IP addresses? Can't one IP do everything? And if you choose the wrong one, your application might not even work. So in this video, I will explain public IP versus private IP in the simplest way possible with a real demo. Let's get started. The problem here is many beginners get confused between these two. They try to connect using private IP from their laptop, it fails. Or they expose everything using public IP, which is not secure. So understanding this concept is very important if you are learning AWS or DevOps. Let's understand this with a simple real life example. Imagine you live in a apartment building. The apartment has one main address that people use to reach from outside. This is like a public IP. And now inside the apartment, each house has a flat number. That flat number is like a private IP. So public IP is used from outside the building, private IP is used inside the building. That's the basic idea here. Let's start with the public IP. A public IP address is used for communication over the internet. For example, if you want to open your EC2 instance in a browser or connect using SSH from your laptop, you use the public IP. This IP is accessible from anywhere on the internet. But one important thing, public IP can change when you stop and start your instance. So remember, public IP equal to internet access. Next is the private IP. A private IP address is used for internal communication inside AWS or your cloud platform. For example, if your web server wants to talk to a database or one EC2 instance talks to another EC2 instance, they use private IP. This communications happens inside something called a VPC, which is your private network in AWS. And very important point, private IP cannot be accessed from the internet. AWS automatically assigns a private IP to every EC2 instance. So remember, private IP is for only internal connection. A quick comparison between these two. Private IP is used inside the AWS network, which is a VPC. Public IP is used outside on the internet. Private IP cannot be accessed from internet. Public IP can be accessed from internet. Private IP is always assigned. Public IP is optional. So the simplest way to remember is private means inside, public means outside. Now let's understand when to use each one. Use private IP when your servers communicate internally. For example, web server talking to database. This is more secure and faster. Use public IP when you want external access. For example, accessing your website from browser or connecting via SSH. So never expose everything using public IP necessarily. For the demo part, we can quickly launch a EC2 instance here. So if you see inside our instance, you could see a public IP and a private IP. Do stop and start off for your EC2, the public IP will get changed, but the private IP remains the same. This is one important difference between these two IP addresses. Now let's try to connect our EC2 via public IP. For it, we need a key which is used to launch this instance. So the command is ssh-i, our key name, ec2-user @ and our public IP. We can access our EC2 via the public IP. So if you see here, you can see a IP address which is our private IP here by giving a command hostname -i. So this means that you can see these private IP. This is used for the internal communication inside the AWS. Now I will try to access this private IP from my laptop. It should fail. So I'm giving my private IP address here, and it will try to reach from this SSH to my private IP, but it will get refused. So it shows that the port 22, which is a SSH port, is connection timed out. Since this is a private IP, we couldn't connect from the internet. That's the key difference between the public IP and the private IP. So here are some important tips. Public IP can change when instance restarts. If you want a fixed IP, we have a elastic IP. So this is something called an elastic IP. It will always protect public access. So we can allocate our elastic IP, which is a public IP, in this region, so that the public IP won't be changed if we do stop and start of our instance too. And always protect your public access using security group. And in real world architecture, most communications happen using private IP for better security. So in this video we learned what is public IP, what is private IP, the difference between them, and when to use each one. Now you should clearly understand why AWS gives both. In the next video I will explain elastic IP, which gives you a static public IP. If this video helped you, please like, share and subscribe to TechArchive for simple AWS learning. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.